think that we can start. We've got plenty users to hear this session. We have the candidates also here. So welcome everyone to our DAO Committee elections session for question and answers for the candidates. As I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, we are using this stage feature from the Discord in order to be more organized for the questions and answers. So if you want to raise a question, please ask to be a speaker, send a request, and we'll enable you. But also, as I mentioned, we're going to start with a quick introductions, 2-minute introductions from each candidate. Then we're going to jump into the slide of questions for every candidate, for all of them to answer. And then we're going to have a moment for you if you want to ask specific questions to the candidates, and if the candidates want to ask questions each other. So with that said, I'm going to pass it to Sheni, that has 20 minutes only to be here, for him to introduce himself. Hey, Sheni.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. Sorry I can't be here for the whole thing. It's literally the only clash I had this week, but that's the nature of attempting to find a slot that fits for everyone. I'm Shoni. I'm a gamer. Some of you might know me. Some of you might not. I've been in Decentraland for running up to 2 years now, if I'm not mistaken, or a year and a half. I have a background in risk management and NGOs specifically, which is one of the things that interested me the most about Decentraland and specifically its DAO. I'm very confident when it comes to the SDK, and I could call myself quite a good developer at this point over the years, over the last 2 years, specifically working with the FITU tools. And I want to thank you for both the space and for considering my application at the bare minimum. And I look forward to answering questions as this plays out. And also a note, if I don't manage to answer any questions asked to me on the Slido here, I'll be more than happy to answer them the next 48 hours on Discord.
Thanks, Sheni. So also reminding you that we have the Discord channel for asynchronous questions. So if you don't ask anything here, and if you want to do it later, the channel will remain open for the next few weeks. So I'll pass it to Gino as the next candidate.
Thanks, Fede. Hey folks, Gino here. I am the lead of the governance squad, the team that maintains the technical infrastructure of the DAO. I've been involved in Decentraland for the last almost 2 years. I know the project since 2017, 2018, and I know some of the original team members since like 13 years ago. So by the nature of the work that we do in the governance squad, we've been pretty close to the DAO committee, specifically on things related to transparency and automating some of the tasks that they perform, or improving some of the tasks that they perform on a day-to-day basis. I understand that the nature of the DAO committee is basically to act as a trusted human proxy for the DAO, but I also think that there might be some processes and some methodologies that could be improved, basically improving the communication and improving the relationships that we might have with other DAOs and other projects in the space. Open to any questions. You can write me in Discord or DM. You can schedule like a meeting or wherever you want, and also happy to answer questions on the slide. Thanks.
Thanks, Gino, for that. So next one, I'll pass it to Lorlike.
Hi, folks. I'm participating as a DAO delegate since 2022. I have a lot of experience in governance processes. What I'm thinking in the DAO committee role is to make a next level DAO. So DAO 3.0. So 1.5 years has have passed since original proposal of creation a DAO committee, and in this proposal this is stated as a temporary solution. So I want to develop a roadmap for automation and on-chain governance. So I think this is the main point. Also, I think that there should be some kind of more community engagement from DAO committee, in my opinion. For example, there is sometimes hard to understand how to write the governance proposal, and there should be, in my opinion, more feedback from committee members to facilitate this such kind of complex questions for new community members. What I want to say, I want to say that we could increase the number of a DAO committee candidates to be elected for a candidate list from 5 to 10, for example. So it will lead to more decentralization, because there were plenty of worthwhile candidates which were not elected to the candidate list. Also, I think that there should be like some kind of security audit in DAO from governance side and from technical side, and these questions are also in the competition of DAO committee, in my opinion. For example, if there will be a significant influx of voting power, so how DAO will handle it? Some kind of dynamic threshold, voting power threshold, or so something like this. If you have any questions, let me know, please, in DM or in Slido. Thanks.
Thanks, Lorelike, and I'll pass it to Risk.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Risk, and I'm an architect with master degree in biodigital architecture. I'm certified project management professional from PMI. I have 12 years of experience in architecture. And about my background work, I worked in many countries across the world, starting from the Middle East and the Gulf. And then I went to Europe, where I did my master's degree. And now I find myself in Central America, where I'm currently just focusing on the metaverse. I'm trying to avoid the full-time work from 9 to 5. I want to make it like this my full-time, which is my full-time work since 2 years. And I engaged mostly what I do, I engage mostly with building structure, and coding scenes, creating wearables, designing emotes. And I start in Decentraland, which was my main focus always. But I built and I win many prizes in many other metaverses too, like in Monaverse, Spatial, TriSpace, TCG World, Ethereum Towers. I have more than 12 prizes since 2018 in the metaverse, which you can find them on my website. I just put all of them. I joined Decentraland in 2017, 2018, I guess, in the Iron Age, Silicon Age. I made my first transaction maybe in the Silicon Age, 2018, February. And I'm always aware because I work in the many other metaverses, I'm always aware what our competitors have and where they are standing, and which will help me to evaluate more details in the DAO proposal. And I think the DAO, I will need to, I can see other metaverses, they're doing some flights, car flights and airplane flights and those things. So I know every metaverse where it stands, which will help me more to evaluate our situation in the DAO proposal and any proposals that will come in the future. Because I know our competitors, so that's in general me. If you have any question, I can answer too. And thank you.
Thanks, Risk. And last but not least, we've got Sinful, so I'll pass it to him.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sinful. I am a streamer and a show host here on Decentraland. I am host of Beyond the NFT, which is a Monday night talk show that has been live since January of 2022. And I am co-host of the community building Decentraland Twitter space and one of the admins in the Discord server. I am very happy to have this opportunity to, be chosen as one of the final 5 in this selection. I feel like I could bring some very, very insightful insights to the DAO team as a community member, as well as even spread the word of Decentraland through kind of just physical appearances and making sure that we can appear on stages like in conferences all around the world, or maybe just the U.S. since here I am for now.
Thanks, Info, for that. So with the introductions done, I'm going to share my screen for the Slido. Wait a sec. Let me know if you can see my screen, the ones that can talk.
I can.
Perfect.
I see it.
Okay, so we're going in descending order. The first question is for Gino, and it goes like, how do you plan to manage the governance squad and DAO committee remain independent from the two? Should you be elected? Conflict of interest.
So I don't see any conflict of interest between both teams. I actually see room for improvement and better interactions, because I do believe some operations of the DAO committee could be more transparent and more automatic, and being inside the DAO committee would inform better the work we do on the governance squad. I would like to be super clear about this. The governance squad, it's not a committee, it's a core unit, it's a grantee as any other grantee in the DAO. And regarding the workload, I mean, I don't know if the question also asks about the workload. I'm currently allocating 6 hours per day to the governance squad, so adding an average of 1 more hour per day for the DAO committee would make like a normal 7-hour workday day, so it's fine. I mean, if there's any specificities regarding a potential conflict of interest, I'm happy to answer those, but from my perspective, I don't see conflict of interest there.
Okay, I think we can follow with a question that's kind of related with this. And it goes like, don't you think that receiving funding from squads and a committee is problematic? Having someone involved worries me. Out of principle, you're great. Kind of in the same way that the other. Cool.
Thank you for the I'm great part. I don't know. I would say some of the candidates here have also received funds from grants, and also some members of the committee are part of the Decentraland Foundation, and I don't see that as a big deal. It's like again, it's for the community to decide that, but I don't see that as a big deal. Like it's like a freelance job. Let's say if you're adding more hours to your workday in the DAO, it makes sense that you get a compensation for that.
Thanks for that, Gino. So the next one is for Sinful, and it goes, what are some initiatives you've been planning if you get elected?
Thank you for the question. I mean, to tell you the truth, I want to be that bridge between community and DAO, relay any community sentiments or feedback that is greatly needed and get it to the ear of the team or the right individuals that need to hear it. And as I mentioned kind of in my intro, one initiative I would like to try to push is to attend conferences and kind of represent Decentraland as a whole, or even the Decentraland DAO on a speaker panel. I feel like that would be a very good initiative for like getting eyes outside of our space and, you know, bringing new eyes to us.
Thanks, Info. And well, the last question that's on the Slido is for all candidates. So let's go alphabetically. And it goes like, what does it mean to be part of the DAO committee for you? And I think Gino should be the first to answer this.
It's a responsibility. I mean, you have at least one of the keys of the DAO treasury. The community is relying on you to fund grants, is relying on you to enact a point of interest. I mean, it relies on you to refill the gas tank needed to make the transactions in the marketplace free for all. I mean, I don't see this position as a flashy, cool thing. Like, you're not the president of the DAO. You're just a servant that has the responsibility of holding a key and holding a signature to the multi-sigs of the DAO. So that's it for me.
Thanks, Gino. And next one should be Lorlike.
I wasn't part of a DAO committee, but I think that so this position will require something like to be technically up to date. So I think it would be mandatory, and I think that it's also big responsibility, and it's very crucial to be advanced user in security questions. So I think it's one of the most important. Yeah, something like this. Thank you.
Thanks for that. So next one, it's Risk. Go ahead.
I would say, beside doing the normal rules, like the one that is written and required for this rule, I would use this in another way. Like, the most important thing is being in DAO committee in Decentraland will help me more to connect with the more big brands and industries and bring them to the verified partners studios. I'm really interested in, like, I've been last year really interested in to bring more Arabic industries, because like my background, I don't know if some of you maybe know, my background is in the Middle East, like I'm Lebanese. And so I want to bring more Arabic industries to the Decentraland. Since I work in the Gulf for more than 7 years, I successfully recently, I don't know, some of you maybe saw that yesterday, I announced one of the largest bank in Saudi Arabia joins Decentraland, like after 3-4 months back and forth with them. So at the end, I could convince them to come to join. So basically they are doing like sandbox, spatial, they're doing many buildings. So they want to test the best. They want to test the best of the metaverse to continue. So I give them so far the best we can. So basically the brands or big companies, organization, when they contact me, they are always often asked about, like, can you connect us with Decentraland CEO or Decentraland manager? And I always tell them, like, we don't have manager, we don't have CEO, like, it's decentralized. And as far as I explain, they can't, like, they don't have the ability to understand that this company doesn't have like CEO or manager to talk with. Like, you can buy the land and build whatever you want. So being in the DAO committee will give me this big credibility to bring them, contact them, and communicate with them, because they always want someone from inside. So I will be from the inside somehow. I will not be CEO, but I will be like in the DAO, so they can trust with who they are talking to, and I will bring them to the verified partners. I don't know if some of you know how the verified partners work. So I can bring them there, so they can put their request, and many biddings from many studios can bid on it. So like this will be like one of the main things that I wanna do beside talking, beside taking care of other proposals like the builders and SDKs, because this is what I do in general. So yeah, this is what I could do.
Okay, thanks, Risk. And I don't know how much time have you left, Shani, but let's go with this question and the following one, if you mind. This one is about what does the DAO committee means for you, and the other one goes about, you said you have a plan for looking at getting the DAO recognized legally. Why? So let's go first with what the DAO committee means for you, and then with the other question. And sorry, Sinful, for skipping you, but I think Shuni has not too much time.
Awesome, not a problem. Sorry, Sinful. I agree with Gino with regards to it being a responsibility, but I do feel, for me at least specifically as an individual, it's much more than that. It was Yermal that really inspired me with his work with regards to really trying to build out a vision as to what this could be, and really trying to assess what kind of structures we could need in place to be able to move towards that vision of proper decentralized governance. And in truth, it was that idea that brought me to this place to begin with. I'm applying for this role, and the passion behind it is very much related to dedicating that time to be able to understand where exactly we can grow and what that vision exactly needs to be. And I don't imagine myself outlining that, but rather spending a lot of time, or at least much more time, sitting down, collecting information and data as best as I can with regards to how things are working on the day-to-day, and being able to understand where our systemic weaknesses are, because I'm growing increasingly panicked about Decentraland. My full-time job is built on Decentraland. I've spoken around the world about DAOs and Decentraland. Just 2 weeks ago, I spoke in the European Parliament about DAOs and AI and what that might mean for the future of NGOs and for the future of governance. And I feel we have systemic issues that are, at the bare minimum, are worth addressing with a policy-oriented mind. And that, I think, ties in very much to also the legal or orientation or understanding of how a DAO should be registered or how it would be recognized. Not because I have any faith in regulation per se, but that conversation does need to be had. And it's one of the things that I debated with Yemo quite a bit when trying to learn more about the DAO. I do think that's important because I see it to be a fundamental step, not just for SMEs or for entrepreneurs to be able to declare that income and be able to build out a better framework with regards to how our funds are used. But it also opens multiple doors for diversification with regards to our asset holding as well, where it's done in a prudent way, and where we can prudently set out a roadmap that could at least protect this vision of having a decentralized governance framework. So my reasons for applying for this and what this means to me is much more than simply passing Aragon transactions or clicking a button and being the intermediary level of trust with regards to those transactions. There's something more over there, and it itches my intellectual brain in a way that other technologies really can't. And I do think it's also at a crucial time where we do need time dedicated towards thinking exactly what that vision looks like and what those solutions might be. On a note, can I also answer my greatest weakness and potentially close it there, if that's okay? Because I do think I've been in a position where I found it hard to connect with the community, especially once I come from the perspective of being a builder and an onboarder for brands. I do feel I have brilliant track record, both with regards to speaking about Decentraland and also bringing large brands into Decentraland. From the UAE, like Chris was mentioning, it's very hard over there when there's no clear framework or there's no clear structure for power. That's some problem we had with Aldar, with Muad Al Futtaim, with VARA, the Virtual Assets Regulatory Authority in the UAE. But we had the same problem with Lazard, the largest private bank in the world, and UBS, who were onboarding into Decentraland this year as well. We had that issue with KB Homes, we had that issue with KPMG Canada. These were all different entities that we pulled towards Decentraland but struggled there. Simply because even on the side of the DAO, it's hard to explain that. And there's a lack of competencies in the private sector and the public sector in understanding how that works. I do think my biggest weakness is that I'm very susceptible to having my social battery drain, where I would like to be able to communicate as frequently and openly as I can, but I very, very quickly feel drained and incapable of being able to keep constant streams of communication with a multitude of different people. So that is something I definitely, if entrusted in this position, will want to address in a way where I can build proper synchronous conversations and be able to give those updates properly. But I do think it's something I struggle with when dealing with a multitude of different people engaging me at once and returning that degree of depth and active listening in each conversation.
Thanks, Jenny. Well, let's get back to you, Sinful, with the question about what does it mean to be part of the DAO committee for you?
Thank you. I mean, I have to say, I in a way share Gino's sentiments. Like the DAO committee position is a servant position, but I do also feel like it needs to span beyond just the technical aspects of it and kind of be more hands-on as in terms of kind of be that resource for individuals to ask questions about the DAO and how to get it connected with individuals that do need to that you know, those highly sought out individuals. And yeah, I feel like DAO committee should be a position that's like kind of neutral. So like in a way, like if there's any big brands being talked about, like it wouldn't be the committee or anyone in the committee benefiting, but it would be connected towards the community, the broader community. And yeah, thank you.
Thanks a lot for that, and sorry again for putting you at last bit, but well, Shani.
Oh, no, it's okay. It's okay. I understand Shani is very limited on time. He's a very busy person. I'm just happy you can make it today.
Thanks a lot.
It's also Murphy's law. Like everything ends up clashing in the remarkable of ways sometimes.
Okay, let's move to the next question. I know I think this is for all of you. So, in your eyes, what is the DAO's biggest issue that you would like to help address as an elected member? So, again, alphabetically, let's go first with Chino.
So the two biggest issues that I see right now are structural from a lot of DAOs. But I do feel that we have a treasury management issue. So we are sitting on millions of mana and we're not doing anything with that. And the second thing is that our governance model could be improved, even though we've been doing some advancements and it's getting better in terms of voting power distribution. There are a lot of things to do there. And finally, and as a bonus, I would like to see more interactions between the in-world experience and the DAO. It is not a secret for all of us that the engagement of the project hasn't been, like Decentraland as a whole, hasn't been what it used to be in the past. But the engagement in the DAO is pretty steady. So that's actually a good thing. And that actually means that the most engaged community members do care about the project. So I would like to see some of our like energy and vibes injected in the in-world experience somehow.
Thanks, Gino. And next one, Lorlike. You want me to repeat the question? Is in your eyes?
Okay. I think it can be divided in two parts. So from DAO committee perspective, as to DAO committee, I think that there is some kind of absence of community on-chain governance. So if a DAO committee and sub-members would be compromised somehow, so it would be very tough for community to understand how to outvote bad actors or just handle governance like through arrogance. Because I asked HP and he said that it like very tough would be for average community member. So from DAO committee perspective, it's absence of community on-chain governance. From DAO as a whole, I think we have a like absence of strategy and also DAO treasury management. So we don't have a guiding star. We are fully in mana, and we are like very sensitive to market fluctuations and volatility. I think we should like do it ASAP and handle talks, conversations about how to diversify our DAO treasury, so that when the mana vesting contract will end in 2030, so that our government, our virtual world will be self-sustainable, and we will have money to handle DAO like monthly, yearly operations to support our creators community. So I think that we should think how we can bring money to the DAO, how we can make our treasury operations more efficient, and so on and so on. Thank you.
Thanks for that. Next one will be Risk.
I think a big issue is the proposals that come from, first is the communication between the people who vote and the voter, and the other, like when new company or proposal come from people that we don't know, we just reject without negotiation, without saying who's those people behind it. Because I think Decentraland needs some more professional people to go forward. Like the marketing, let's say. I'm seeing the marketing is the most who do marketing in our space, or our people here, is Sinful and Meta Trackers. So maybe like this is our main face for Decentraland, those two, I guess. Maybe there is more I'm not maybe very aware of, but those I'm friend with. So maybe we need to bring more professional to Decentraland. Maybe not now, it's bear market, but I see in the future this big issue to make our voters and the community be a little bit open to the new proposal, maybe from out the Decentraland. Maybe they just have background, and sure, they want some money. They will ask for a grant to market us, but I would say to make more research about them before we vote. And maybe one of them can bring us more and more like up. I think this is one of the biggest issue we have.
Thanks a lot, Risk. And well, Shani is leaving, so goodbye, good luck. And
I
again,
do have
if you
2
want
more minutes before I need to jump out.
Okay,
I realize there's also one on legalizing the DAO, which might be for me.
Yeah, if you want, you can answer that, or if not, you can give some closure words and whatever you want. Take it.
So very quickly, with regards to legalizing the DAO, I'm not saying that we should do anything. I do feel a conversation needs to be started. We need to explore our options. We need to take that seriously. So there is something worth exploring over there and debating about. And I do feel that I have the skill set to be able to start assessing that. I do also feel prepared for the responsibility that this role brings to the table and what I need to live up to with regards to expectations and day-to-day work. I do feel I have those qualifications as well from an educational standpoint and just an experience-based standpoint. The weaknesses which I see in the DAO are broad and systemic. I agree with everything that was brought up with regards to asset management, with regards to communication, with regards to transparency and governance. I'm trying to prioritize them in my head, trying to do triage to understand which would be most important. That is something I'm also doing, was gathering community feedback and trying to understand what different DAO members are experiencing on a day-to-day basis as a consequence of being part of this DAO. And as closing remarks, I do want to say that I'm just grateful to have been given the opportunity to speak, the opportunity to share. No matter what happens in this election, I think we have some brilliant candidates put forward, and let's keep this conversation going and these debates going, because there's critical things that we need to address as a community, and if we don't, we may run the risk of facing some degree of catastrophic risk. So these conversations are really important, and let's just make sure that they keep on going even after the election. Thank you so much, everyone, and I hope you have a really pleasant afternoon or evening.
Thanks a lot, Shani. Good luck. Good luck. And well, if anyone wants to ask him more questions, again, you can reach out by DM, or you can post your questions in the DAO channel for committee elections. That's going to be still open for a few weeks more. Okay, so getting back to this question, I'll pass it to Sinful.
Thank you. I would say the biggest issue in my eyes is I believe it might be labeled as DAO or VP inequity, or more in the sense of we need to find a way to even out the playing fields a little more and let way for kind of new users that are just coming into the space to and allow them to have a voice, or like a way to voice their opinions a little louder. I know that I have a lot of friends that come into the space and kind of like don't even participate in DAO due to them feeling like their voice just doesn't matter because of the number that's right next to their name, or the VP number right next to their name when they vote. And yeah, I would like to kind of push on the initiative of trying to find a solution to like make everyone feel included.
Thanks a lot, Sinful. Okay, well, I think we can jump into the next question. And it's for all. So it goes, how do you plan on dealing with bad agents trying to drain DAO with whale votes? Gino, first.
Yeah, I think I've already answered this question a lot of times when it was brought up by different community members in different type of proposals. There is no way for a whale to drain the DAO. Why? Because all the transactions are enacted by human beings. Second, because if you try to drain the DAO with a grant, there is a team that will oversee the work that you're doing. And if you're basically being fraudulent with the work that you're doing, that grant is gonna get revoked. And third, well, it's kind of similar, the same to the first one. We don't have automatic transactions. Like everything that every like fund transfers on the DAO happen after a manual enactment from the DAO committee. So I do believe that there are some things that need to be addressed in terms of voting power distribution, specifically regarding voting power delegation, but also different sources of voting power. But I don't see our DAO specifically as a DAO that is susceptible to those kind of attacks, like 51% governance attacks, or things like that.
Thanks, Gino. And let's move with Lorlike.
So I think that there is some kind of several approach that can be handled, and one of them is like, for example, increasing governance threshold. Some time ago, I put a poll to increase the threshold to upgrade land and estate smart contracts, because they're one of our foundation. And I think that governance threshold should be like reviewed, and it can be increased. Also, I think that there should be like some kind of objective and logical decision-making framework, yeah, so that it could be like given by some kind of committee or squad as a review or opinion, and it can give like a professional, objective view of situation of a governance proposal. So it's like one of things DAO committee members also do. And I think that there can be like created such concepts like voting power, social voting power, something like Ailey and Gino, if I'm not mistaken, has told, so that community members can be rewarded with their contributions with the voting power, for example, from the treasury. So I think there should be some kind of several approach to handle all these questions. Thank you.
Thanks to you. And I pass it to Risk. Are you talking? Because I'm not hearing you.
Yes, he was talking.
Okay, well, I don't know. Can you all hear them? Can Wolf, Gino, Factilians? Maybe it's me.
Risk, can you hear Fez? Okay. Fez is not hearing you.
Okay, well, there are some people that can hear you and some others that don't.
I can't. I don't know
Okay.
if...
Will you try to join and, leave and join again? In the meanwhile, we can go with Sinful.
Risk left and came back. Do you hear him now?
Nope.
No, still.
Let me check if I can mute him and unmute him.
And I guess just to answer the question on my end, as far as the position goes, there really is no way to counter the or do anything against the whale votes when it comes to the technical aspect of it, because this position would have to be something that is already decided on, and you are the one that's just pulling the trigger to make it happen. But on the other end of of things, I would remain as vocal as always, and speak my thoughts on what I think on certain things, and just that's how what I could do about whale votes and stuff. Just share information in a way, and of course, always have to make sure that the information is correct.
Thanks a lot, Simple. Risk, would you like to try again to speak? Still not hearing you.
I hear Risk. Not Fez.
Yeah, I don't hear anything.
Nikki can't hear Riz either.
Maybe you can answer on the chat, Risk.
Yeah, answer on the chat, please.
At least, yeah.
Okay, well, in the meanwhile, I think we can jump into the next question. It's something that, well, Shani already shared his answer about this, but let's go again, starting with Gino. And it goes like, legalizing the DAO is legalizing the DAO in the best interests? What are benefits, risks in doing so? How does this work with Foundation as a non-profit Panamanian company?
So as Shani said, I think it's a question worth asking and discussing with the community. I'm not a legal expert. I know that the issue of legal entities for DAOs is not an easy one. There are projects that are completely dedicated to that. I had the opportunity to talk with a lot of them in a DAO conference last year in Denver. Again, I don't know if it's the best for our DAO structure. I don't see how that could conflict with the foundation being a nonprofit organization. I don't think that's a big deal. But especially after the SEC saying that Mana could be considered as a security, I mean, I would wait until all that dust is settled down before making any bold moves there. But I think it is a worthy discussion to have with the community.
Thanks, Gino. And first, before passing it to Lorelike, Risk, can you try again to speak?
You can hear me now?
Yeah, great.
Oh. So what question should I answer? The one before, the Wales one, or the?
Maybe let's finalize with this one first,
Okay.
and let's jump later into that.
Yeah. Okay. Since the mic working, I can do it all. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that the DAO, to legalize the DAO, I'm not with this because I saw all the other metaverses they doing like the KYC, and it's bring it to the bad situation, I guess. So if let's say if we legalize the DAO, so we will need to do KYC for any proposal. Then they need to pay taxes. Then we need to know every person, and I think we are very unique with this feature in Decentraland that we are still not wanting the KYC, and many other they asking about it. Like I'm working with other metaverse, and many of them they ask about it, especially Sandbox. I think this is the main point between us and the Sandbox. There for any grant or any even for any game jam or any contest, they ask you for KYC to be part of the contest. So I think Decentraland making this as illegal will put Decentraland way back for many other reasons too. So yeah.
Thanks, Risk. Then let's give it to Lorelike, and then to Sinful.
I think that we should make research on this topic. I'm thinking to apply like a pitch through a tender program on the questions like to take like a legal consultation for some kind of experts, and on such questions as like handling all this minor risk, like pluses, minuses of DAO being incorporated. I talked a similar topic to Yamal about something regarding to grants for more efficient approach. I think that it's worth exploring, and I think before voting, DAO should understand what it is and what are the consequences. We can make not our main DAO incorporated. We can make a Golf Squad did, so they have a Panama Foundation, if not mistaken. And we can make a sub DAO or sub squad for some kind of special purposes that DAO need to handle to when it needs legal entity, for example, like investments or some kind of stuff with regulatory requirements and so on. So in short, I think it's worth exploring, and we should weight all the pluses and minuses. Thank you.
Thanks to you. I'll pass it to Sinful.
I believe pretty much the sentiment has been shared with the previous speakers. Like, yeah, it is something worth exploring. Kind of like just seeing what the positives and negatives are, as well as kind of like, and then on the other end, there's the whole like, in a way, we need to, or I believe we need to try to kind of preserve this decentralized ecosystem that we're in, and try to evolve it, and maybe even meet in the middle when it comes to legalization and staying decentralized, if that's possible. Of course, we need to do a little more research on the matter and continue conversations.
Thanks a lot. So, we've got, basically we have this one question that's for Risk needs to answer, and the last one is also for Risk. So, would you like to go with your plan on dealing with bad agents, and then to the? Yeah. Okay, great.
Yeah, like regarding the wheel, as I was saying, like anyway, I think this question mean like to drain the DAO is to get grant with your vote and not hack or something. So I would say like any grant can be revoked, so they can't drain the DAO even if they win the grant. Like even if they put proposal and they vote with their votes, so the grant can be revoked if they didn't deliver the goal of the proposal. So this can be stopped from the first month. Otherwise, like we need to talk with a whale directly and check his vision with that. So I think we have those two solutions: to talk with the whale or to revoke the grant if he gets it somehow with his votes. Or you can be a whale at some point. You can buy like with $2 million and you will be a whale. That would be a good solution too. And regarding the other one, would you be fair bringing potential client to all builders? I think this was from Lastrom. Like he is one of the biggest. Lastrom is one of the biggest studios in the Decentraland partner studio. So he know what I was talking about. So yeah, I would whenever I contact any agency or any company, I bring them to the studios, because now in the studios there is feature like you can. I did many meetings with Alejandro, who is responsible for this with this version. So when any big company or brand come to Decentraland, they always like to do a bidding. So they don't come just to me. Even if I contact them after they are convinced with Decentraland or with any other metaverse, they do a bidding or they ask more than one. So Decentraland now is systemized. Like the system, you can go, any company can go and put a request. So me, my studio, or Last Slice Studio, or Kija Studio, any studio can go and bid on them. So they will choose the best bid after they do interview with all. So I will be bringing the whole people the equal opportunity for all of them. And that's my answer.
Thanks a lot, Risk. And well, with 5 minutes to end this meeting, first I wanted to ask if the candidates have some more time to stay here and answer some questions before giving some closure words, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
I can hang.
Well, like Risk, are you good staying?
Yeah.
Great,
Yeah,
perfect.
I can stay now, yeah.
Thanks a lot. Well, with the Slido questions finalized, I'm going to, basically open it up to everyone that wants to ask a live question for the candidates, or if the candidates want to ask questions to each other, please raise your hands, and I'll invite you as speakers. After that, we're having a space for the candidates to give some closure words, and that will be all. Will be good to have Fifi here singing something in the meanwhile.
Maybe Sinful can put some background music.
I'll sing to you.
Yeah, Nikki, it was kind of answered in the introductions of each candidate, and also with the question of what does it mean to be a committee candidate. So yeah, it was kind of answered with those two questions. Anyone that wants to ask a question, a voice question? Oh, thanks, Canwolf, for that.
What? You have one of those buttons? I've never seen that button.
Yeah, that's why we wanted to use this stage feature, because it's like awesome for these dynamics, for these debates or sessions. It's like great.
I see. I'm learning something. I might use it tonight.
Okay, if there are no questions, Let's start with the closure words. Gino, do you want to go first?
Yeah. Okay, so first of all, I'd like to thank the members for shortlisting me and shortlisting the rest of the nominees, which are awesome. Second, I mean, and this is not a like a strategy to erase my competitors, but I would love to see some of the other candidates to form a core unit or a dedicated team to explore partnerships for Decentraland. It would be awesome to have Risk and Shawnee putting some paid hours into onboarding and sourcing potential clients from the DAO for the project. I think it would be great, and I think it would be very helpful also for the Metaverse Studios team, but also the partnerships team on the Decentraland Foundation side. It would be great. And third, something that some of the candidates mentioned, this idea of like using or taking advantage of the DAO committee seat to propose like changes on the governance processes and things like that. What I do love of decentralized governance is the beauty that basically anyone can propose changes and kickstart conversations to modify the fundamentals of the structure. Actually, one of the candidates here, Lord Like, has been putting a lot of time in the last few weeks or in the last few months writing proposals. Shawnee wrote proposals as well. I wrote proposals as well, and probably some of the other candidate members did it. And the amazing thing about DAOs is their permissionless nature, right? It is true that permissionless doesn't mean equal, doesn't mean necessarily democratic, but having the ability to have the voice, to publish an idea wide in the open and wait for feedback and see that idea bubble up and form into a binding governance proposal and changing the rules of the game based on that with the acknowledge and the agreement of the community. I think that's amazing. So, I mean, you don't have to be a committee member to do that. And I think that's great. So as a closing thought, again, I feel that the DAO committee role is a role of service, is a role of efficiency, is a role that has to have a sense of urgency because people rely on you to execute on things. As I said previously, we are not fully automated DAO, which is great in some aspects, and it's not that great in other. For example, if you have to wait like for, 2 weeks for something to get enacted. So I hope to if I get elected, I hope to help building those processes and automating those things so that DAO is a more effective form of human coordination and organization, and it serves the best of interest for the Decentraland community.
Thanks a lot, Gino. And I'll pass it to Lord Like.
I want to just say thanks to community, to all the members, to core units that I'm here and I'm participating in DAO committee election. It's very exciting. It's very unusual, and I'm very appreciative for this experience. And let's build our DAO and let's make it successful. I see a question. So implementing Kai, I think that, as I said before, so we should have a legal analytics, legal research, and then as DAO, I know have some opinion on this matter because now it's hard to say. For example, I saw Sandbox does have this KUC when buying land, if I'm not mistaken. So thank you all, guys. Let's build. Let's find consensus. Sometimes we have different opinions, but it should not be a barrier for us to make our virtual world prosper, successful, and having an inclusive community where we all are welcomed, there is no harassment and so on, so on. Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Lord Like. I'll pass it to Risk for closure words.
basically, like Gino and Lord like said it all. I just want to thank the community for their time and invite them to vote if they didn't yet. Hopefully we can together keep Decentraland always first among all metaverses available so far. And for whomever will win, I'm sure he will serve very good in the benefit of the community and Decentraland and build more stable DAO. Because I guess to develop the DAO will need way more years to make it stronger. Like we are still in the beginning and lots of things still missing. So I think we need more years to make it more powerful and more serving for the whole community. And now people start be aware of the VP. So many people like trying to get more VP and trying to be effective more. So it needs few years more. Like the Bitcoin and crypto, we're still very fragile. So I believe like one day, like I'm sure I write an article about it, I will drop it in the comments. I believe that one day the DAO will replace the government system and the bank system, specifically because of the mechanism that it works. And thank you again for all, and good luck.
Thanks a lot for that, Risk. And well, let's go with Sinful. And I think that will be all for now.
Thank you. I'll keep it short. Thank you, everyone, for your time. It's really important that we have these conversations that kind of have been brought up all through this Q&A, as well as even let's keep moving forward in developing our DAO, making it the DAO that we want it to be. I want to thank the DAO team, the current DAO team in position, for putting this together and giving opportunities to more community members. And yeah, thank you to all the other candidates as well, because it's one of these where like I know that the DAO will be in good hands despite who wins in this position. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, and really kind words, that last ones. So, all right. With that said, with all the closure words already given, I think we can wrap it up. And again, we'll have a couple of more weeks before we actually hire the new DAO committee member. So the channel, the dedicated channel for asking questions to them is going to be open. And again, if you want to reach out specifically to one of them, do it. Okay, I think that's pretty much all. So thanks everyone for joining, and yeah, let's keep discussions ongoing. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thanks, folks. Bye.
Take care, everyone.